Hey class, all right, so I'm not there today. Mr. G going over with what you need to know to take care of the projects for today. For my service design class, you guys are going to be continually working on your book pieces. On the book pieces, it's going over the calligraphy and testing out the calligraphy tips and nibs, as they're called. I do have a calligraphy video that goes over how to do some refinement, shapes and designs in calligraphy, so you guys can check that out. That's on the main channel. Now, the other thing I want you guys to be working on is working on the calligraphy. So you have your calligraphy pin like so. There's a set of pliers that's also in the box over here. Use the pliers to delicately, all you're doing is so that you can get a hand onto that metal and just slightly pull it up just so where you can grab it and pull that piece out. Now, if that one doesn't work for you, you can also grab back here. There's a little notch right here on the back of the nib, and you can just press with your fingers to press that to pry it up, just so that it pops out. These are just to make life easier. That's all those really are. And then to put it back in again, you're taking the nib and you put it, there's a little chute right there, put it just inside so that it is flush with the back piece. Remember, as I said before, when you dip it into the ink, you really don't want to get the ink. You don't want to get the ink further than right where the indentation is, right here on that, on the nib. Reason is so that as it writes, these two pieces here start to come apart on the paper. So you're going to be working with downward motions. And sometimes what I like to do is to, again, hold the pen on the 45, and you're going to use that downward motion. So as I'm coming down, pick up the pen, bring back up to make it the next line across from it. That way that the pen opens up to slowly bring out ink, but if you go up and you're going too fast, it will bleed out. And I want you to test practice that. Remember, back here by the calligraphy section, you have lots of white paper just to practice on. Use this paper to practice on. Make sure that the paper that you're using for your piece is not being used until you have done a few test runs first. Other than that, if you guys have questions, so down questions in the comment section. Do practice working on your scripts, which means the stories that you guys are researching for your fairy tale units. So I want you guys to transcribe those stories onto the papers. Again, do a couple test runs today. That's kind of what I really want you to go for. If you're done with that, we're going to tear down those papers like I showed you guys the day before. So as I said in the video, as I said before, you guys are going to take the tracer sheet, which is the nice large big piece of paper. I've got green lines on this that you're going to trace. 2 sheets of the large white paper, the large sulfite paper here. You're going to do 2 copies of this grid design. You can either use scissors or you can tear it. Now what I like to do is get a ruler, put it onto the edge of where that line is, hold down firm, grab the edge, rip up so that you're using the leverage of against the ruler to tear the paper, and that is going to give you what's called a deckled edge. Deckled edge is like this, so it looks at rustic, torn edge quality, so that when we stack these together and we add these into our book, there's that quality of more of a much more rustic, much more that this is a handmade book rather than something that you got from a shop. And we're be set, so then when I see you guys on the next class, then we're good to go. Other than that, if you guys have questions, again, as I said, toss them down in the comments, and I will see you next class. Later, guys.